This song is about phone addiction. Sometimes I spend a long time writing and rewriting lyrics, and it can be a really arduous process. For screen time, the concept of this song was just so true to how I was feeling at the moment that everything came together pretty quickly. I tried to make the song's production mirror the lyrical content as best I could. So the producing and writing really played off of each other throughout the whole process and happened somewhat simultaneously. Because I wrote and produced this one all on my own, I thought it may be interesting to break down the main elements of the song and kind of give my explanation of why I made certain choices. So, first, I started with these keys. This was originally played on a soft synth version of the DX7, which is a keyboard you've likely heard in 80s music, or at least music inspired by that decade. I played these moody extended chords in this repetitive way. We alternate between the D minor 7 to G minor 7 before resolving to the A minor 7, and then the loop starts over again. The chords stay this way throughout the whole song. It's just kind of a looping section, no chord changes or key changes or anything like that, just dynamic production, building and taking away. Because so much stuff on social media like Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts are these short looping pieces of content, I wanted the main musical element of the song to mirror that. The piano loop may make you feel a little bit crazy with how it cycles between the chords, but it also pulls you in because it's satisfying to hear how it resolves at the end of every 8 bars. The way that I got these keys to sound so warbly and exciting is actually by sending them through this shallow water pedal by Fairfield Circuitry. This pedal can make things sound pretty dark and lo-fi, which really helps me add life to software instruments that may sound a little bit sterile coming out of the computer. Basically, what it's doing is random pitch modulation with a built-in low-pass gate. So things are being detuned and filtered at the same time, and you get a unique take each time the signal passes through the pedal. To record this loop, I basically just sent the audio out from my DAW into the pedal, then back into my DAW, let it cycle through a few times, and then chose my favorite section from that long take and made it the main loop of the song. I really like that things start to feel uneasy, but also nostalgic, like an old VHS tape or something. It sounds silly, but I kept on thinking of Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase while making this song. If you haven't seen that film, I highly recommend. It's about Scooby and the gang being trapped in a computer game and being chased by this virus monster. Maybe because this song is about being trapped in your phone. I used to watch that movie on old VHS tapes. It was all floating around in my head. Childhood nostalgia, artistic process crossover, I don't know. Anyway, for added dynamics, I've got this loop pitched down an octave at certain points. And I've also got a Juno that comes in to double the keys for a bit of width in the choruses. For the bass line, I did an 808 bass line. It's nothing too crazy, just following the root notes and holding down the lower frequencies of the song. I slapped some Soundtoys Decapitator on this guy to add some extra upper harmonics, hopefully making it translate a little bit better on smaller speakers. I also like Decapitator because it makes things sound a little bit less digital, a little more analog. There's this switch up in the second verse where I change some of the instruments and do kind of a rappy thing vocally. For this part, I played that same bass line on a Software Moog and Software Rickenbacker. Added some decapitator to each of them and panned each of them in opposite directions for just a little bit of width in the low end. The synth noises you hear throughout the song were actually played on an OP1, which I'm always happy to get some use out of. I used the same shallow water pedal on here, but instead of resampling, I just sent the OP1 directly to the pedal and then into the DAW. This chirping, beepy thing acts as a bit of percussion more than anything. It's kind of anxiety inducing, and to me, it evokes that feeling of just doom scrolling on your phone, hoping to find something that makes you feel good, but you never really do. It's just one note, but the shallow water gives it some modulation and character, so it feels a little more complex than it actually is. This other synth layer really helped me nail down the feeling of overstimulation that I wanted for this track. I wish I could tell you, but I don't really know what sound I used on the OP1 to make this. When I use the OP1, I usually just run through a bunch of sounds and get as many takes as possible that I can repurpose and chop up later. This kind of just helps me stay in a creative flow where I don't get too analytical, and sometimes more exciting ideas can come out that way. But yeah, this layer feels loose in a really nice way, but at its core, it's just a big suspended chord being held down. I added a combination of reverb, distortion, and tremolo that helped to blend it into the song and complement the groove a little bit better. I feel like this layer really glued the post chorus together and brought a new energy to that part of the song, making it a lot more climactic. That real Scooby Doo magic I was looking for. For the drums, pretty much through the duration of the song, there's this shouty little percussion loop. It feels a little distant, a little bit suffocated, like it's right under the surface but keeps getting pushed down. It's actually just a sample I found online and ran through the shallow water pedal once again. Honestly, this pedal is on everything in this song because I had just bought it and was excited to use it. It goes to show that gear is most useful when it's in service of the sound. This pedal made sense with this song because I wanted a kind of darker, moodier ambiance, and that's what it gave me. So I leaned into it. Or at least that's how I'm justifying it because it is all over this track and I like the way it sounds. So whatever. In the chorus, we get this retro sounding electronic clap to add some tempo. We also get this digital hi-hat with some chorus on it for a bit of width and movement. It was the light bulb moment for me when I realized this song was the perfect tempo for a Jersey club type beat. I'm no expert on the genre by any means, but I feel like Jersey club and remixes in that style really evoke like TikTok dance challenge. I don't mean that in a bad way either. I just feel like it's a trend and the genre is still sick. The lyrics of this song deal with feeling like you're unable to make a change in your life, whether you're concerned about the time you waste, how others may perceive you, or even larger global events. I thought it was clever to have these contemplative verses contrast this chorus that comes in with a Jersey club type beat. While the song had previously felt entirely sincere, this chorus kind of subverts that in a sarcastic way, telling you, hey, everything's all right, just keep dancing, forget about all that junk. The post chorus is like the amalgamation of all these feelings, just a total freak out and release. We get some slight variation in the drum programming, playing the snare in halftime. There's some more acoustic sounding drum samples that also come in here and on the rap section before the second chorus. This change in texture just kind of takes us to a different place. Thematically, it's like you're taking your eyes off the phone for a second and feeling the burnout from the dopamine binge you just went on. For the vocals, so these vocals are already comped and bounced down. I like to do a lot of takes when I sing because I'm not the best singer. So the original project was a lot messier. Wasting a life, comatose sunlight. All of the vocals do have a double underneath them that's filtered and widened a little bit. A trick I learned is that singing on top of a double can give you a lot more confidence as a performer when tracking your main vocals. I do this on pretty much every song I work on, and it gets things sounding professional a lot faster. It feels like you're singing along to a song as opposed to singing a song for the first time every time you record. Also, layering your vocals intentionally can add a lot of depth to your tracks, so if you're a vocalist, I recommend it. For effects, I've got multiple sends. I've got a slapback delay, a longer tape delay, a reverb, and a micro shift for width. You can dance to this part. You can dance to this. You can dance to this part. I find it important to have reverbs and delays automate throughout a song and vary in intensity. Having different effects for different sections of a song can really enhance the dynamics of a performance. When you record all your vocals in the same space, you sometimes lose the sense of scale that a bigger reverb and delay can give you. I like to use a long delay like this to create a larger sense of space, almost like you're watching someone perform, as opposed to having somebody in your ear singing. The second verse has an extra harmony track and some ad-libs to differentiate it from the first verse. Tell me it's fine. What's going outside? If you're doing a second verse of a song that has the same melody as the first verse, it's always a good idea to throw on some harmonies just to make it more interesting for the listener. To build up into the second chorus, the rap switch up has some additional doubles pushed a little further on the sides, as well as a layer pitched up an octave. Of all these thoughts that keep me down, if I'm too much to keep around. For the more distorted bits, I'm saturating with decapitator, just like I did on the bass. The chorus vocal has some doubles panned left and right, as well as some lower harmonies also panned left and right. You can dance to this part. You can dance to this. There's also this chipmunky vocal playing up the octave. Dance to this part. You can dance to this. I recorded this by slowing down the song with very speed and then speeding it back up again because I couldn't quite sing that high. This is a tool I use when I want to record a note that may be out of my range because it can sound less artificial than just pitch shifting it, in my opinion. The post-chorus is pretty heavily manipulated. Here, I wanted the vocals to sound almost like a synth, but still maintain the organic tone you get in a vocal performance. In the final post-chorus, I've got a vocal where I'm yelling kind of intensely. I just filtered this a bit to make it more subtle in the mix and shifted the formant down to make it sound a little bit less like my voice, a little more surreal, maybe. Really, those are the main elements of the song. Beyond that, there's a bunch of really nice transitional sounds and embellishments happening throughout to make the song feel more cinematic. I think I'm gonna make a separate video in the future talking about ear candy, so stay tuned and I'll probably dissect those elements of this song. Please go listen to Screen Time. I'll put the link in the description. It may be fun to hear how all these elements come together in the final master now that you've seen them broken down a little bit. I'll be checking out the comments, so let me know your favorite parts of the song or ask any questions you may have about stuff I didn't go over. I'm looking forward to making more videos like this, so if you want to see the next one, make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, follow me on Spotify, Instagram. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again. Peace.